My name is David. Welcome to church number 5 of 52 churches in 52 weeks, round 3. For this visit, we're going to take a look inside the International House of Prayer in Kansas City, Missouri, often abbreviated as IHOP-KC, though unfortunately it has nothing to do with IHOP buttermilk pancakes, which is unfortunate since I'm getting really hungry as I film this. But for the past 24 to 25 years, this unique ministry was founded on the principles of 24/7, non-stop worship and prayer. Unfortunately, as of this recording, things are not what they used to be. So I'll touch on that in a little bit. But before we explore this round of 52 and 52, we're partnering with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital to do some good. St. Jude is looking to defeat childhood cancer and other type of catastrophic diseases. And with the donate link that you often will see on the side if you're using a PC or laptop, or down below if you're using a mobile device, it should be a blue button. And when you donate, that 100% of the proceeds goes directly to St. Jude. YouTube doesn't get a cut, I don't get a cut, everything goes to St. Jude, so you can feel confident that your donations are going to those that need healing. Our goal for this year is $52,000. Through 4 weeks, we've already raised nearly $9,000. So thank you very much to all those that have donated or said prayers. Appreciate the good vibes, and we're hoping that we can do some good for anyone who's a part of St. Jude. So quick update and preview on some upcoming things. As I've been trying to figure out how to navigate this new round of 52 churches in 52 weeks after getting baptized as a new member in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I want to be attending sacrament meetings as often as possible so I can continue on with the covenant path. So what I've been doing is if I am out of town, I'm trying to make multiple church visits in a weekend to essentially stack up church visits. So this is the last of 4 visits I made in Missouri. And then in May, I made 4 to 5, I'm still trying to figure out if I want to count a 5th one, in California. And then this past weekend, I drove out east and visited 7 different church sites between Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio. So in the upcoming weeks, you're going to see a wide mix of different Catholic visits, Protestant visits, and some historic Latter-day Saint site visits as well. So stay tuned for those. As for this visit with IHOP-KC, I'm going to be completely honest. I have been dragging my feet to do this video. Typically, I get very excited. I've been told often my face lights up talking about church visits that I really enjoy and get excited over. I like to bring positivity and, something good into the lives of others, especially those that are close to me. But I also realize, especially with church and the world, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And with this particular church visit, to be honest, this was one of the most downcast church visits I've ever made. And I've seen this in the past. There's been other church visits that I have made where someone on the staff would walk up to me, especially if I would be taking pictures during or after church service. And every single time, there was some type of scandal that was going on. Either the pastor was in the news, or there was some type of scandal going on within the church, or even like the church location was closing down. And that happened here as well, and I was kind of expecting it. I didn't know anything about IHOP-KC up until about a year ago when I first learned about it, but I didn't know anything about the 24/7 aspect with the prayer and worship. Here, a security guard walked up to me and kind of just asked, what I was doing. And I just mentioned, hey, I do all these church visits. And rather than kind of talk about the scandal, and even then he proactively brought it up that, if you want to find out anything about it, just go online. So I'll say the same here. Like, if you want to learn about it, go online. But my main thing here was, tell me about what's positive about IHOP-KC. So with this visit, there was a very large, dark cloud that I could feel anywhere that I was going within this mission base type of ministry. But I think with any type of large, dark cloud, you want to find the silver lining. So for this video, I'm going to try to do my best to kind of showcase what was the good about this ministry, minus all the negativity and the murky waters that has been a result of the past 6 months. So I shared quite a bit from the onset of this video. I'll share a little bit more what it looked and sounded like inside, and then I'll be back in just a moment with a brief recap. I spent roughly an hour inside IHOP-KC as a first-time visitor, and as you can probably tell from the images inside, everyone was just very quiet. I couldn't help but have this sense of fog and pain from those that were attending this particular session. And I think a big part of that, obviously, is just the amount of unknowns and uncertainties for the future of this ministry as they kind of go through this turmoil of scandal and liability. And it just kind of made me wonder, like, what did this look like even just a year ago when it was much more in its prime? So I should reiterate, IHOP-KC is not technically a church. It's a prayer room. It's a mission base. I read on their website that they did have what they quoted as a church expression with the nearby Forerunner Church. And as I record this, they recently closed that church just a few weeks ago as a restructure to avoid liabilities. When I arrived, I would estimate there was probably about 200 seats inside IHOP-KC. And as you can tell, again, from the video, like not many were filled. I would say maybe about a dozen, maybe 20 people tops were seated. And I should mention, like, this was a Sunday afternoon. It was right after probably a service from the nearby Forerunner Church that was still in operation. So I'm sure a lot of people were probably churched out. But from those that I observed inside, a lot of people were just on laptops doing homework. I saw a number of people that had their Bibles open, and they were using the time to just focus on reading the scriptures. And then I also noticed some other people who would just kind of have their eyes shut as they kind of probably did their own contemplative prayer inside their own seats. Also, there was a lot of cameras, so there was just sound equipment everywhere. So I sat near the front for maybe about the first 20 to 25 minutes to just try to center myself a little bit with how they did this prayer worship. So at this point, there was just one gentleman who was on the piano, and nothing real fancy, just a lot of kind of singing the same type of thing in this repeating type of fashion. And afterwards, I just kind of took a few other seats just to get a couple different angles, and just kind of observed what their prayer room looked like, especially in the back, because there was a huge globe that featured just tons of flags that was flanking both sides of this back prayer room. But I also went to the front desk, and they had a secretary. And again, this is where just everyone was just down. Like, there just wasn't much excitement. And I asked the secretary, like, if they had information for first-time visitors. And even just saying that, kind of having an idea and having heard the rumors of what was going on, it just hit me where it's like, I don't even think the secretary was sure that she would still be at that desk in the next month or so. So she kind of gave me a direction for where to go for a lot of the different kind of pages that they had. So I'll touch base on this a little bit later. But yeah, I just felt really weird about that, because it may be one of the last times that she would ever hear someone asking it for information about this prayer house. For the last 10-15 minutes, I just went back inside and they changed musicians. And that particular musician just kind of sang the same thing on repeat as well. And by that time, I had to take off. So I didn't really feel like I got a true sense of what IHOP-KC was all about. So like for this video, like I wasn't really even sure what to talk about. So I tried to reach out to a few people afterwards. And one of which was when I was walking out, taking some more pictures, a security guard was kind of following me at that point. And I had seen this before, like I mentioned, the onset of this video, where if someone was following me or someone was about to ask me questions, I knew something wasn't good. So he asked me if I was with the media, and I told him I'm not really. I do my own vlogging where I visit different church sites, and I just want to learn about some of the positives. So I asked him, what is the best thing about IHOP-KC? And for him, he said it was the worship. And so I want to try and be as respectful as possible. I don't want to be stirring up the negativity with this particular prayer house, because this prayer house has really positively impacted a lot of people. And I don't want this video to be someone who is kicking someone when they're down, because right now, this prayer ministry, they need prayer. When I spoke with the secretary and she directed me to all the literature that they had for first-time visitors, I grabbed as much as I could, and I was not prepared for as much as they had written down. So the very first thing that I'll mention is this card, where they're basically advancing 24/7 prayer, all due to the Great Commission. So they have a number of by the numbers type of stats on here. And I'll blow this up here just so you can take a look a little bit better. But the very first number that they list is 20 million hours of prayer with worship. And I had to figure that out, because I'm trying to figure out, okay, 24/7 worship, 365 days a year, in 24 to 25 years, I was coming up with 200,000 plus hours of continual prayer with worship, not 20 million hours. So I'm guessing that they're taking that number, combining all the hours of individuals that have been inside IHOP-KC. That's my guess. They also mentioned that 15 different languages have been used inside. But the number that surprised me the most was the amount of staff members and volunteers. 22,000 people have been a part of IHOP-KC to staff and help with this ongoing worship. That number alone just blows my mind, just to think of everyone that has been a part of this. All the other literature that I grabbed, the screen sheet has 2 different pages of prayer room etiquette that you need to adhere to. There also was 7 pages of fasting for different guidelines. That one blew my mind. There's a blue sheet for International House of Prayer, I think just for prayer schedules. Also prayers for Israel, and then just other type of prophetic and Song of Solomon type of prayers as well. The handout, though, that was most curious to me was this one. And I don't know what to make of this, having never gone through a class or learning much about it, but it's all a chronological structure of Revelation. So with this, it's taking a lot from Revelation 6 and Revelation 8, and it's taking what's called the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 bowls. You with me? Okay, because when it comes to Revelation, this still is extremely confusing for that book to me. So my understanding is with the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, the 7 bowls, these are judgments that get increasingly worse and more devastating as the end times approaches. So I'm going to start up here and I'll blow this up. But right here, you're going to have the 7 seals. So each seal has some type of devastating type of event, like the Antichrist conquest, or a world war, or economic crisis. And then upon the release of the 7th seal, then you go into the 7 trumpets. And the 7 trumpets are just kind of like global events where like the light is darkened, the sea becomes blood, there's a lot of torment with demonic insects. This kind of stuff, just kind of like, I don't know much about it, you know? So after the 7th trumpet, then there's the 7th bowl. And with the 7th bowl, what the 7th one is supposed to be the final fall of Babylon, where the Lord Jesus Christ enters Jerusalem to end Armageddon from Revelation 19, verses 11 through 21. So that's wild to me. I didn't really know what to make of that. I feel like you have to go through a number of classes to really understand what that's all about. Revelation always trips me up, so I'm going to try to springboard off of that into what their founding pastor found with what they call the harp and bowl mode for their musical prayer. So they take it from Revelation 5, verse 8, where in heaven's throne room, there's 24 elders who fall down before the Lamb. And they're all holding harps, and they all have these golden incense bowls that contains the prayers of the saints, as they put it. So with the harp and bowl method, what IHOP-KC will do is they'll do about 20 to 40 minutes of musical prayer. So that's where you usually kind of see, you know, the worship style and a lot of the repeating refrains that they do. Then there's typically maybe about a minute or 5 given towards speaking in tongues or some type of interpretive type of prayer. And then they also do another type of intercession of more prayer mixed with music. So I hope I'm getting that right. It's very hard for me to explain. I've seen this in other type of worship styles, especially with the Asbury revival. They did something very similar, but that's kind of what they're borrowing from. I was also told that they have something called an oracle. So if someone is up on stage and they feel prompted by the Spirit to go forward with a message from God, I was told that they have some type of signal from the worship team that they will try to give to a leader. I was told that you keep your palm down and then you kind of put like a fist with your pinky out to get permission to speak from this oracle that you're receiving. So I tried to do some YouTube research to find some examples of this. And I guess there's one woman who would do this maybe like 10 years or so ago. And it was actually quite powerful to hear because she's coming up spontaneously with these lyrics. And with repeating and repeating and repeating, eventually it sounds like the entire worship team kind of gets what's going on and then starts to join in and follow to make the worship and the music transcend whatever this oracle type of message that the person is receiving to sing and communicate. So that's my understanding of the harp and bowl model. If you have more to contribute or some additional insights, I'd love to read it in the comments, so feel free to mention that below. One other thing that I should mention about this nonstop worship is IHOP-KC features what's called the NightWatch, because I can't imagine many people want to continue this nonstop worship between midnight to 6 a.m. in the morning. So I was told like a number of volunteers and staff members will completely alter their sleep schedule, completely alter their lives, so that they can continue burning the flame at the altar to continue with the worship music. So from what I was told as well from the security guard, it sounds like even with like years ago, even in those midnight hours, it sounds like the worship and the prayer was just as powerful in those wee hours of the night as any other time during the day. So it really kind of makes me wonder what it was like maybe like 10 or so years ago. But for people that want to be part of the Night Watch, they are always accepting applications to be a part of that, because I can't imagine many people want to just completely upend their lives just to continue this worship style at such an odd hour of the night. To wrap up this video, as I mentioned earlier, IHOP-KC's church expression, Forerunner Church, recently held its last service. And as a result, a number of volunteers and staff members were let go. And looking at the YouTube comments from that service, I was surprised just to see the amount of positive comments from past staff members and those that had served. And with this ministry, like, it really helped a lot of people in the relationship with Christ to grow stronger and just to hear his voice a little bit stronger. At the same point, and this is what makes church very complicated, is this church also really hurt some people. And going through IHOP-KC for that one afternoon that I spent there, to see the amount of people there, that, again, that fog, that pain, that cloud that was over that ministry for the day I was there, like you feel for those people. They've been hurt. And it's like you don't really know where they're going to go next for a Sunday afternoon to get closer with Christ. And to have that community removed is going to be can be a big setback for people in their faith walk, because now you're going to be isolated unless you set something else up. So with IHOP-KC, right now they're in this season of restructuring. We'll see what happens with God's hand to see what happens next with this particular community. That's going to wrap up church number 5. Hope you enjoyed this look into IHOP-KC in Kansas City, Missouri. For next video, I'm going to take a look into my first month or two into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints after attending my very first stake conference. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Make sure to hit like and subscribe so you can follow along. But until next time, hope you have a good one.